You're listening to Track Talk with the RacinBoys, brought to you by McCarthy Chevrolet in Olathe, or visit them online at McCarthyChevyKC.com.
Or you can visit McCarthy Chevrolet and check out all their dealerships at KCCars.com. Joining us now on the show is a friend of the RacinBoys for a long time and a guy we lean on very hard at the Tulsa Expo Center for the Chili Bowl Nationals, Bryan Gapinski. Bryan, how you doing?
Hey, great, guys. How are you today? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's to you as well. Hey, thanks for getting up, bud. Last-minute shuffle here and touch base with you last night. We appreciate you getting up early on a Saturday morning to talk about the Chili Bowl Nationals, which you got your voice ready? You all geared up for it?
Oh, yeah. I'm always ready. I'm always up, and we're looking forward to it, and basically hard to believe it's come up this quick.
Yeah. Well, let's kind of talk about it. I guess the number one question people ask me when we talk about the Chili Bowl Nationals is, can Kevin Swindell win 4 in a row? And most people say, I don't think he can do it. Now, how can somebody win 3 in a row and not be the favorite going in? I mean, obviously the odds are against him to do so, but that's what we thought after year 1, year 2, year 3, or now year 3. Can Kevin Swindell win 4 in a row, and do you think he will?
It's going to be really tough. Obviously, driver and equipment, and they have all that stuff figured out. But I just got to say, I hope I'm not eating words on Saturday, but I just think that the law of averages are against you. It's just tough. You look at how many major auto races a driver's won 4 in a row. It hasn't been done at Daytona, hasn't been done at Indianapolis. I mean, there aren't too many marquee events that you can win 4 times in a row, other than probably Steve Kinzer or Donnie Schatz at Knoxville on a big race level event. So, it's going to be really tough. There's 270 guys, but we do know one thing. There's only one guy guaranteed a spot on Saturday night right now, and that's Kevin Swindell. So if he does have a problem, he does have a provisional, starts from the back. We've seen crazier things happen, but
so that puts the odds in his favor, then, doesn't it? Because really, it doesn't matter what he does throughout the week. I mean, he is in the show, so right now he has the best advantage of anybody in the field of the over 250 cars that are entered.
Yeah, but you know what? You want to race yourself in because you don't want to start 25th with a field like that, But it's always there if you need it, and then you start that far back, you just need lucky breaks with cautions and things like that. But it'll see. There's crazier things that have happened there, and that's what makes the Chili Bowl the Chili Bowl.
Bryan, let me ask you, what do you think the advantage? Because the one year that Kevin's won the last 3, and the guy that, oh, by the way, won in 2009 was his father, Sammy Swindell, they're deep into everybody's head. Everybody's wondering, what the heck are they doing? And, after really paying attention to what Sammy does, I think their cars are specially built for the Chili Bowl, and they're exceptional pieces. But I've got to believe the real advantage is in the knowledge of the shocks and what Sammy does himself to those shocks to manipulate him to get around the corner. I think that's the advantage. What do you think?
I think that's one of the things. I think obviously any place Sammy goes and runs, he's fast, but that's definitely a big thing, and that technology in the last 5 to 10 years has just advanced so deep and stuff. And I do know that Sammy is doing a driving and shock and chassis clinic at Tulsa today for anybody that wants information and stuff, and they're also doing a drive on the track in a couple of midgets that a driving school's putting on, so fans actually have a chance to run at the track today.
Hey, Bryan, this is Kirk. Can't wait to get down there to Tulsa. So if not the Swindells, who are some of the other drivers that would have a real shot at this?
I think obviously it's the same names in the past. You can go through the top 5. Obviously, Corey Kruseman comes to mind, a 2-time winner, entered. Obviously, Tony Stewart. he had a really good shakedown about 3 weeks ago. Tony Stewart won an indoor midget race in Des Moines, Illinois, on a track that's pretty similar to Tulsa. And actually, that event drew 67 cars because a lot of guys just went there to shake down their cars. So he's obviously in a good zone. And you got to look at, Kyle Larson, who's just been fast all year. Brian Clausen, who's always quick at the Chili Bowl. Possibly National Midget Driver of the Year champion Jerry Coons, who's won almost every major midget race in his career, but he has yet to win at Tulsa.
John Stanbro, maybe.
John Stanbro in the Hans Lean car. Danny Stratton, who was so fast, also in a lean car. And then obviously the multi-teamed Loyette team and Wilkie Pack teams come to mind. And, probably Steve Buckwalter from out east. And
Tracy Hines, another one, right?
Yeah, another past winner, Tracy Hines. And then we'll wait and see, too, Andy Bondio from California. One time the premier cars at Chili Bowl, unbeatable and always fast for so many years, has really struggled the last 4 years. He's got a pair of Chili Bowl winning drivers, Damian Gardner and Tim McCready in his cars. So it's, 270 guys, everybody goes, oh, the odds of winning, and it's so tough. But, yeah, there's 270 cars there. But, realistically, I mean, you can probably slim it down to probably 35 combinations that really have a legitimate chance of winning the event on Saturday night. But all the rest of the racing just makes it even more fabulous.
Well, I think you just nailed it. The best of the best are there. There's no way that you can just pick one guy outside of the Swindells to win. It's just too difficult to do. There's too much talent and again, the luck factor that goes involved. But the cream, as you alluded to, typically rises to the top. Dave Darlin is a guy I would like to see win, and I don't know if there'd be a more popular win if he was to win after running so well at the Chili Bowl so many times. Wouldn't that be great to see Dave Darlin win?
Yeah, and he's actually with a different team this year. He's driving for the RFMS team that won the USAC National Midget Championship with Darren Hagen. And I really believe, yes, it would be. He's been close a few times. He's definitely got to be probably the last major guy that we did not mention. And actually that team with Darren Hagen, he's going to be right there. He's won on preliminary nights. And they've also got the spectacular P.J. Jones, son of Parnelli Jones, in one of their cars. So all the black number 3s and 98s of RFMS will also be very quick. But, the neatest thing about the Chili Bowl is the fact that, it has midget drivers, it has sprint car drivers, it has stock car drivers, it has NASCAR drivers, it has drivers from so many disciplines. But you know what? Come Monday morning, everybody's a midget driver for the week. There is no separation.
How about Casey Kane? You mentioned Tony Stewart's going to be running down there with us. Casey Kane is back this year for the Chili Bowl Nationals, one of the fan favorites always.
Yeah, definitely fan favorite with the women and the autograph seekers, as any NASCAR driver is when they show up at Tulsa. But Kane, a late entry. The teams run the midgets only a couple times a year and stuff, and Casey hasn't been there in a while. He'll blow the dust off come Monday and stuff, but I really don't have him in that first group of 12 that I would have to put money on right now.
If I remember right, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember right, the last time Casey was down there, he didn't do so well on his qualifying night and was stuck back in the, I think it was F main, and chose not to race, if I remember right. Is that correct?
That was one of the times. I am not sure if it was the last time, but it was one of the more recent times that he has been there and stuff. But,
he chose not to race that race, by the way, and I know some people were disappointed about that. But the fact is that there wasn't much of a chance of him transferring all the way through to get up into the A main. So I kind of understand it, but at the same time, the fans that are there and want to watch him race, maybe he needs to do that if he gets in that position again this year.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he'll definitely do something a little bit different than he did in that situation. But it's great to see those drivers like Tony Stewart, Casey Kane, come back and run these disciplines that they started in, and along with nationwide driver Jason Leffler, who's also a contender with the Shane Mill team this year. Those guys come back, and you know what? What's really nice, and you know, I'm sure a lot of listeners know about some of the stuff that they do, but there's so many things that these guys still do to help grassroots racing that goes beyond just owning a team that competes in sprint cars and other levels. They do a lot of things to help these other guys along and do a lot of things and remember those guys that and people that helped them along. So that's really a neat thing that you know, stands out in my mind, and obviously you know, I got to give a pat on the back to those guys for not forgetting where they came from, like a lot of athletes end up doing along the way.
Do we know what night Casey Kane's going to qualify on yet?
He would probably be early in the week, I would say. Tony's on Tuesday. They've got testing down at Daytona.
Yeah.
What? I'm not sure.
You know what? I don't remember. I've been going through everything. Obviously, preparing for 270 drivers is it's a monumental task. And you know what's interesting? We talked about all these drivers from different disciplines. There is it's right around a third of the drivers competing at Tulsa either did not run a midget race in 2012 or just ran the Chili Bowl.
Wow.
So that always mixes in. You know, when you get that experience level mixed in with the guys that we just mentioned, it creates a lot of excitement, and I guess the word might be, I guess we could say it, a lot of cautions at times.
Bryan, you're the president of the National Midget Driver of the Year Award. Where are we at in when it comes to midget racing across the board? I know, pretty disappointed with the car count at Belleville. Let's be fair, it was down. And you could blame a lot of different things on that, but where do you see midget racing? I know that we're going to talk to Dennis Shrout here in a few minutes. He's going to come on after you, and he's scheduled 13 midget races at Valley Speedway this year. They're kind of doing a local thing here a little bit, and I think that's great for midget racing. But where are we at right now when it comes to midget racing across the board around the country?
The Chili Bowl is not conducive to what the sport's about because you got 270 cars, and as we just mentioned, you know, close to a third of them don't race the rest of the year at all.
Right.
So basically, you know, there has been a rebound. The situation, I think, with, you know, a lot of the other strong series, which obviously basically is USAC, PowerEye, Badger, would be the three leaders and stuff. They're rebounding. Things are, you know, getting a little bit better than they were, you know, a year or two ago with car counts. But, you know, it basically comes down to the economics of the sport, like, you know, be it wing sprint car, non-wing sprint car, dirt late model, pavement late models.
Doesn't matter.
That type of series is really, you know, when I talk about car counts and struggling across the country, that one's probably been hit harder than anything, short track pavement stuff. But,
oh, absolutely.
You know, it's bouncing back, but, you know, slowly but surely. But, yeah, you know, people look at the Chili Bowl and go, oh, my God, midget racing must be, you know, this great. But, no, you know what? It's getting better. There's more. I now see it, especially in the last possibly 15 months or so, more of the midget race series working together each other and stuff. Every series still has to follow their own business plan and do what they feel is best for the competitors. But now everybody's kind of taking a half a step back, looking over their shoulder and going, okay, we need to do this and this because it's best for the sport, and work together with each other to try to create better events where everybody supports each other. And, you know, the last thing we need, which we've had in the past, is, you know, two individual series with basically half the same competitors that run in between both of them, run an event, you know, 60 miles apart on the same night. That kind of stuff has, you know, pretty much ground down, and everybody's trying to work together. So, you know, I see it turning the corner and moving on and stuff. But, you know, it's just like the business climate. Everybody's a little cautious right now.
Right. And let's face it, we've got to reel in the cost of these motors a little bit too. But I don't know if you can ever do that. I always talk about that. That's easier said than done.
You know, yeah, that's a whole other conversation for a day. But, you know, it's like that in every form of sport. It's
sure.
always been the old adage, how fast do you want to go? How much do you want to spend?
Yeah.
All right, what else is going on in midget racing? And in your world, you follow a lot of different modes of motorsports, like Indy cars right now. Just before we let you go, what is the status of IndyCar racing now as we go forward into 2013?
Everything looks pretty solid. A lot of teams are announcing sponsorship. They're still waiting to see if Ganassi runs a fourth car. Probably the two biggest things out in the open right now is who gets to go to the AJ Foyt team, somewhat called the penalty box at times, but we'll see who lands over there. We'll see where Ryan Briscoe lands, but there are a few more teams and more interest for the 500, so they're looking to go off with like 24, 25 cars for their season opener coming up in St. Pete in a couple weeks. So everything's kind of buffeting up there in the feeder divisions for IndyCar and stuff are getting a little bit better. And basically, I tell you what, if you look on RacinBoys every day like I do, the website, it's basically schedule after schedule after schedule for all the midget sprint car and all the other organizations. They're all announcing their schedules right now, so there's really a lot of good races. I wish Dennis good luck with that's the AMF midget series that they ran a few times last year, I believe. Is that correct, Scott?
Well, actually, this is going to be Valley Midgets. They're just going to kind of open it up, and they're going to have a weight rule and a tire rule, and that's pretty much it for what I understand. We're going to have Dennis on here in a few minutes to talk about it. But
that's great because you know what? Kansas City has a great long history of midget racing there, and it's good to see a deal like that get going. And there are cars in the Kansas City area. We saw that when there was an indoor show a few years ago. A lot of guys from that area, and within 150 miles of there. So that'll just help create more cars to run at Power and USAC events in Belleville and other places when we go there. And I tell you what, the event turnaround for this year is going to be Belleville with USAC there and Silver Crown. So that's going to be a great event the first week in August, as it always is, the Belleville Midget Nationals. But hey, Chili Bowl, a couple days away. It should just totally be a great time, and I'm really looking forward to it. And if the people can get there, and if they can't, listen with you guys.
All right, Bryan, thanks for everything you do for RacinBoys. We appreciate it. We'll see you down there on Monday. Are you coming in on Monday or Tuesday?
I will actually be there Tuesday, and I'm surprised you guys, since we're on Sports Radio 810, I'm surprised you didn't try to get a quick football prediction out of me.
Oh, yeah. Hey, what do you think of our hire? Quickly.
About who?
Our hire, Andy Reid.
He's only thinking about the Packers tonight.
Oh, I didn't even know that. All righty.
Where have you been? Cool. Under a rock? My goodness, everybody in the world knows that.
You're only thinking about that game tonight with the Vikings and the Packers, right?
No. I'm actually going to say winners today would be Houston and Minnesota, and tomorrow I'm going to go with the Colts and Seattle.
You're picking Minnesota to beat Green Bay?
Well, yeah,
I think it's going to happen. I mean, hey, you know what? I just see things happening, and we'll go with those. And I'm sure you can tell me if I'm 4 for 4 or 0 for 4 on Tuesday when I see you guys.
All right, Bryan. Thanks so much, buddy.
All righty, we'll look forward to seeing you. Great to be on. Thank you.
All right, Bryan Gapinski. That guy knows everything about everything when it comes to midgets. He's a huge asset to our broadcast. He gives you all the details like nobody else when it comes to what you're going to see down at the Chili Bowl Nationals or what you're going to listen to. Again, listen to it all live, RacinBoys.com, $9.95. Go to RacinBoys.com for more information. When we come back, Dennis Rout from Valley Speedway joins the RacinBoys.
Track Talk.